Coach, why don't you just get us started like normal with your opening statement?
Yeah, obviously excited about the victory. Excited when you win 42-7. Watching the tape, probably a little more excited about our defense than even when I knew we held them to 7 points and played good, but really played north and south, really swarmed to the ball. Didn't give them a lot of breathing room. They threw a couple go balls that they made some nice plays on that we certainly got to do better. Credit to them. They really executed, but we got to be better in those areas. But the coverage, you watch the tape, the coverage was pretty darn good. Like one of them's coverage was about as good as get. We knew the quarterback was good. He threw some really good balls under duress, and he was under duress all the time. So even the stuff we didn't do as well, some of it, Long Island did some okay things, and I think that quarterback can really play and make some plays. So offensively, obviously, we had 2 drives in the first half. We screwed up a protection. On a pressure, we had the right protection. We just didn't execute the protection correctly, and then, we threw the one interception, which you can't do. Other than that, we kind of rolled right through them. We had 500 some yards. We ran the ball. We threw the ball. We should have. We had a physical advantage on both sides of the ball, and we took advantage of the physical advantage. So, special teams overall was decent. We had a short punt. We had a penalty on the kickoff return, so we had a couple mistakes there that we got to clean up. We lost leverage on a kickoff again, which we got to clean up. But overall, special teams were solid. But defense didn't really. The few plays they did make, we said we're going to be aggressive and make plays under duress. They made a couple plays under duress, got them 7 points, and then run game there was nothing. Third down defense was good. Offensively felt really good. The best thing is a lot of kids got to play. A lot of kids touched the ball on offense. Some kids touched the ball for the first time. Some kids got their first carries. Some kids got their first catches. A lot of kids got their first opportunities to block. Same thing defensively. We had, last quarter and a third, all new defensive guys out there. A lot of them had never played a college football game before, so that was awesome. And some of them did really nice things. Others were just okay, but they got out there and they got their first experience and know what it's like to run on the field and actually play in a game and not just practice. So, came out of it, obviously wasn't as a physical a game. I thought Long Island played as physical as they could, but they're not as big and as athletic as Cincinnati and Minnesota. So it was not as the same pounding as the first 2 weeks, which obviously with our early season schedule, Cincinnati, Minnesota, and Army are 3 really, really, really physical teams. So having a little less physical game sandwich in there was pretty important for us as a football program.
Because I was on the sidelines, I was close to a couple plays there, the deep balls and stuff, as you mentioned. And it struck me that there were Red Hawk defenders right there on them. And it just ended up, if they did pull it in, it was just a matter of them kind of grabbing it and pulling it away or high pointing them or whatever. But the coverage looked pretty good Saturday.
Yeah, they hit 3 on us. 2 of them, the coverage was excellent. We didn't finish the play. You got to play the ball in there. It's one thing to cover a guy. You got to finish, just like you said. We were in good position. We got to do a better job, whether it's high pointing or just squeezing the guy. One time we got beat over the top. The touchdown, we were beat over the top. But like you said, 2 of the 3, the coverage is good. When I watched the tape, I felt, and again, I don't feel we can finish better, and we have to finish better. But there's correctable things there. 2 of the 3, one like we got run by and we weren't in good shape. So again, it was a very aggressive effort. It was both sides of the ball were playing north and south. We did make some mistakes like you always do, but we didn't make that many mistakes, and we made a lot more plays than we did.
How happy were you that your guys didn't overlook LIU and look ahead to Army? Based on the score, it seems to me that they put the pedal to the metal against LIU.
Yeah, we had both Spence and Eric did a good job with the game plans. We had really aggressive game plans, so we kind of were trying to take that off their plate by being really aggressive. Because it just, again, you play those first 2 and then coming off that, the first game disappointing, okay, but we were ready, fired up to play. We put a lot into that Cincinnati game. We didn't get any results. I got it. Minnesota, we put a lot into it too, and you come that close, and it's even more frustrating. And then you watch Minnesota go to Colorado and beat the living dog out of them. and the game wasn't as close as 30-0. Minnesota missed 2 short field goals and an extra point. The game could have been 40-something-0, and Colorado, I think, was favored going into the game. So Minnesota almost beats Ohio State. Then they don't look so good against Miami because no one thinks Miami's very good, and then they go to Colorado and beat Colorado up and down. So obviously they have a pretty good team. So we knew going in, it's just going to be hard to be as excited to play Long Island. You watch them on tape. They've been beat up a couple times already. You know they're a 1AA team. They don't have the talent of a Minnesota or Cincinnati, and they shouldn't have the talent of a Minnesota or Cincinnati. So Coach Kayla and Spence, we talked, and they just like, we're going to be real aggressive. We're going to take away any complacency out of this because there's certainly, like you said, there's going to be the tendency to be a little more lax and complacent. So we talked about we're going to be aggressive. We're going to play man coverage. We're going to blitz them. We're going to make something happen. The same thing offensive. We are very aggressive offensively with our play calling and push the ball down the field. And we're going to have some 3 and outs, so you're going to score some points. So I think they did a really good job of helping our kids, which you have a natural low lane. Army's coming up, and you know what a big game that is. So that's the trap game. So I thought both our guys did a really good job of making our team play real aggressive, even if they maybe didn't have the same bounce.
Last time when you were up at Army, you managed to have a comeback there to get it all tied up, and that was there anything specific to the comeback lessons learned or anything that that you can use going forward?
I don't know. We were down. It was 14-7 at half. They put a drive together, got up 21-7. We had moved the ball some, not great, but we had moved the ball some. So you're sitting at 21-7. It was kind of a one score game most of the way. They did push it to 2 scores late in the third quarter, and it hung on for 2 scores. But it was basically a 1-score game. They got up 7-0, then it was 7-7, then they got up 14-7. It stayed there for a while. Then they finally got it to 21-7. So it wasn't like we were chasing points and we were down the whole game. Yeah, we got 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, ended up tying it late. But we were kind of, it was pretty a close, hotly contested game the whole time. We did everything we could to try to get off the field. It's almost impossible to get off the field against Army. We did everything we could to keep the points down. We did a decent job of keeping the points down. We had a huge goal line stand that helped us keep the points down. It's going to be a low possession game, typically with Army. If things go well, it's going to be a low possession game because they're going to grind. They're hard to get off the field. They get past midfield. They got 4 downs. They're virtually impossible to stop when they get past midfield. This year they've been scoring so fast and furious. The possessions have been higher because they score in about 2 or 3 plays. They're probably more potent on offense. They're throwing the ball a little bit more and a little bit more effectively, and they're as good as they've ever been or better on offense or scoring. I mean, you look at these first 3 games, they score. The game's all like they get up 21, 28 points, and not the team you want to be down 28 points to with their offense. So they're really good. They've been really good the last few years. They look as good, if not better, than they ever have. So you got to fight and scratch and claw for every inch because they're gonna, like we always talk about, like when you're in the Army and you're protecting our country, is there rules? There's rules, but the rule is you protect our country. And that's how these kids are trained. These kids are trained to win at all cost. And the cost for them in their real life, not their football life, their Army life, the cost is people die every day. And people have died for centuries to protect what we do. And that's why we always talk about how much respect we have for them, all right? The problem is when you play them, that's how they play football, all right? It is unbelievable to watch. And again, it's not just Army, it's Navy, it's Air Force. When I was at Notre Dame, we played all 3. Like, they play football like they're storming the hill, all right? The only difference is no one's shooting at them. Like, this is easy for them. Like, in real life, they're going to go storm the hill, and there is no rules of engagement, and there is no stopping us. And we may take some casualties on the way, and that's how we're trained to protect our country, which is incredible. And that's, again, like why we. But when you play them, you can't sit there and, even though we respect them, because they're the dirtiest, nastiest, tough. Like, they play like they're storming the hill. They're going to get the job done. If they got to hold you, bite you, kick you, like, it doesn't matter. Like, and again, it's if you love hard-nosed competition, it doesn't get, you watch the Army-Navy game, I know Clemson plays Alabama, there's more talent on the field, I get it. Watch the Army-Navy game sometime. You talk about people that are emptying the bucket and have no regard for their body or yours, and somebody's not going to be left standing, and they're planning on it being them. And there's no helping you up. There's no I'm sorries. There's no, oh, that was illegal. There's no, oh, I'm sorry I chop blocked you. I'm sorry I toe picked you. I'm sorry I grabbed your ankle. I'm sorry. Watch them cut block. It's amazing. They cut block. And we played them in 18, and we try to use it as a learning moment even before we played them. And then you go play them, and it's a totally different deal. How, you talk about playing north and south and playing aggressive, that's every snap. They don't know anything else. They're trained, and then like, you saw like, they go to cut you. Well, one, cut block, the only reason cut blocking isn't illegal in the country is because of the academies. It's the only reason it's still around. They've eliminated, every year we take out more versions of cut blocking. They keep it around so the academies can still run their offenses because they cut 47. Do they intentionally do anything illegal? No, they don't intentionally do anything illegal. But in the trenches, they're cutting all the time, and they have linemen that are trying to get to the next level, therefore it's not a chop block. Well, we have linemen that are engaged with their linemen, they're getting chopped left and right. It's almost every down. And then the perimeter, they cut you and they grab your ankle, like, it's not a cut, it's a single leg takedown. And they're unbelievable. And it doesn't matter because they're there to win a football game. Period, end of story. They're not there to worry about hurting your feelings, or if you don't like it, or if you don't want to play that aggressive, that is your choice to not play that aggressive. Because we're here to storm the hill. And that's why they've been so successful, and that's why Navy's been so successful. And it's awesome to watch. Like, it is, you talk about toughness, you talk about playing a win. You talk about there is no excuses here, there is no second place, there's no moral victories. Every single play we're storming the hill. And this is easy because there's no one up on the hill shooting at us. Like, this is just a bunch of you clowns here playing football. And I talk about our kids, like, we had some really awesome off-season workouts and some really intense off-season workouts. We do these Friday morning workouts, like a lot of football teams do. And it's really intense and it's really hard, and we really push our bodies. And I tell our kids, like, how good we feel on Friday morning. If these guys came and watched our Friday morning workouts, they'd be like, really? Really? That's it? Like, this is what we do at 4 a.m., We practice after a long, and again, it's just a totally different. So I always say, like, could we be tougher than Army for 365 days? No, they're trained totally different. They're trained totally different. If I tried to train my guys like the Army trained, I'd be fired. I can't train my guys that way. That's not illegal in normal society, all right? How they get them to be the way they are. My dad's an Army guy. Like, I know people that are career Army, Navy people. It's a different way of life. It's a different level of training. It's not, like I said, it's not legal in free society to be trained that way. You couldn't be a boss that way. But can we be tough enough for 3 hours on a Saturday afternoon one time? That's the challenge. And it's the biggest challenge you'll ever face. We were up for the challenge in 18, and we were one stinking point short in 18. And like I said, I don't ever feel good about a loss besides 18. I thought our kids, for 3-4 hours, because it went double overtime, actually somehow went toe-to-toe with people that you really can't go toe-to-toe with, and again, Army did the same thing. For 4 quarters and 2 overtimes, it was, every play was kill or be killed. Like, there was no in between. Bodies were flying, and it was, there's a play we were watching an Army-Navy game last night, and Navy does a really good job defending them, partly because Navy runs some option too. So we spent a lot of time, or I've spent a lot of time, in particular in the off season, looking at Navy and structure and what Navy's done to have, because Army scores all these points and they play Navy and they know each other. And so, but also, is there something to be learned there? And I know Navy hates Army on that day and Army hates Navy that day. So it's beyond a rivalry. What you think's a rivalry isn't, but also structurally, they also know they have some answers. So looking at, how they defend each other, is interesting to see some of the things they try to do to slow the other people down, because they do slow the other people down, But there's a play, like, we ran it, then at the end, Coach Breeden's like, hey, look at that play. There's 20 bodies on the ground. There's 22 players on the field. There was 20 bodies. When the whistle was blown, there was 20 bodies on the ground. I don't know that I've ever seen it. The guy that was the pitchback on the play wasn't on the ground because they didn't pitch him the ball. And then there was one defender on the backside that wasn't on the ground. All other 20 bodies were on the ground. All right, now they're cutting it. It's like a rugby scrum. But the fact that, and they both sides are emptying the barrel, and it's amazing just the bodies that are flying in that. Like, in it, I've never seen a play where 20 people were on the ground. I mean, looked like somebody, stepped on a mortar or something. Like, it was amazing. Like, the bodies are just, every play, it's just nonstop over. And there's not any relenting. Like, there's not like you're going to wear them down. You're going to wear them down? You're talking about you're not wearing them down. You just got to, in Navy just keeps coming, and Army just keeps coming, and there's just bodies flying. And next play, it's the same. It's, again, anybody who watches that game and enjoys competition, it's the highest form of competition there is.
So can you practice like that this week?
No.
So how do you prepare?
That's why they have the success. It's hard to prepare. I mean, you're going to show the looks and the plays, and they run all these offensively. They run, it's hard to prepare for one of their plays. They got like 40 of them, And then, as I always tell our guys, because we've defended option for a number of years, they got more plays than you'll ever see, guys. Like, we had some success in 18 slowing them down, not stopping them, but slowing them down. And then they dust off counter option, which I know every option team has, but there's no counter option to breakdown. There isn't, and there's no counter option sense. But they have tons of stuff to go to, and they have stuff to go to that you're not even going to see on tape, and they have formations to go to, and on balance and toed, and they run their, So and you can't. Like I said, the best scout team we're going to have is the first quarter Army. First quarter of the game is going to be the best scout team we have because we cannot emulate how they run their plays, and particularly the speed, how fast they hit the holes, how fast the ball gets on the perimeter, how hard and low their offensive linemen come off the ball. It's what they do. They do it not just all year. These kids do it for 4 and 5 years, and it's to run the triple option. Like I said, triple option did not go away in Division I football because it wasn't successful. When I was a kid in the Boomer Schooner, and everybody was running triple, in Nebraska and Notre Dame, and it went away because at some point it wasn't cool enough. All right, it wasn't exciting enough for the fans, and then people started whipping the ball around. The fans love that, so then everybody wants to do, and people, I said, but you go to high school football, the wing T triple is still winning state titles. You look what Army and Navy and even Air Force have done through the years with obviously less size people. And they're getting bigger than they've ever been. But for years and years, you'd go and they'd be so undersized, and what they could accomplish with not as big an athlete was the great equalizer, And now they're getting bigger. Their O-line's getting bigger and bigger. I used to think you couldn't get into the certain armed forces if you're over, but now they're letting them in, I guess, just to make their football team better, because they're getting bigger. But again, just what they do, it's impossible. It's impossible. So you do the best you can. Your scout teams do the best you can, and you try to. But like I said, that's why they jump on everybody. That first quarter it's like, holy cow, we practiced this, but it didn't look like this, guys. And that's just the normal. That's, when I was at Notre Dame, we had a decided physical advantage over Navy. The first year we played them, we were down 35-7 at half. Like, we got 4 and 5 stars, and they've got whoever, and we weren't ready for what, and we didn't believe that. We didn't buy into how hard they were going to play, and we didn't buy into how tough their schemes are. We didn't buy into the challenge of playing an academy and what they're going to bring to the table. And we all play hard, and we throw out overcoming adversity all the time in sports. Their adversity is different than ours. Their adversity is themselves or one of their loved ones or one of their classmates doesn't come home. That's what they're signed up for. So different level of mental strain.
Can you give us updates on Homer and McWood?
Yeah, McWood unfortunately is going to be done for the season. He's got to have surgery, so he is done. We're hopeful maybe to get a year back. We're looking into that if there's any opportunities there, but he'd like to come back, and we obviously would love to have him come back. So that stinks. Homer is getting closer. He's trying to get ready for this Saturday. We'll see as the week goes on, but he's definitely getting closer, for sure.
Cold Iron's been filling in, and he had a couple big catches to help get things going. Are you fairly pleased with how he's been filling in?
Yeah, he's been really good. He was really good a year ago. Had a couple huge touchdowns against Ball State and our big one against Ball State a year ago. And then he's kind of picked up right where he left off. He's a much improved blocker from where he was as a freshman last year. He was a really good receiver a year ago. And again, he can run and catch. He's pretty fast. He played high school receiver. He's kind of grown into a tight end, so he's used to going down the field and making big plays. And then obviously he did a nice job running after he caught it Saturday. He made some big plays against Minnesota too. When we were coming back against Minnesota. So he's been an accomplished receiver. He's done really good since he's been here. He's got I think 3 years of eligibility after this. So he keeps getting bigger, strong, improves his blocking. Then you get Homer back, and we got Paulson and Rhett Williams, and Nate Mersch came in as a tight end. We flexed him out, and he caught a ball, but Nate's a tight end. So our tight ends had a pretty impactful game on Saturday.